Welcome to another episode of Zero Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I'm so excited to have on a 31-year-old from the old honey hole, Cardiff, Wales. His hockey journey has probably taken him to Wales, England, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. But I do know he's ran amok of Qatar for the FIFA World Cup. And fun fact, he also ran amok of Cardiff Metropolitan University, like yours truly, graduating with distinction in sports broadcasting. He then started showing the sporting world what's up. He's been dabbling in nearly every sport from darts to Championship League snooker, Rugby World Cup, but his passion keeps pulling him back to the world of hockey and our Cardiff Devils. And his new documentary, Inside the Cardiff Devils, is already up for awards, and we're only one episode deep, folks. That's running amok. Welcome to the back deck, Oliver Hampson.
You've done your research, man. Honestly, fair play. That's
Hey,
quite the intro.
yeah, well, research team got creepy, stalkerish, really.
That's the best type of research team, creepy research.
Creepy, and that's part of how we know each other. That's what I get into is your old man is really good friends with my creepy stalker neighbors, right? Dan and
Yeah,
Sarah.
yeah. So last season I was actually a creepy stalker neighbor of Sam Jardine.
Oh, nice. I would totally creep him out. He's a wicked dude.
Yeah, I was working from home one day and I just hear just this voice walking down the corridor. I was like, that sounds like Todd Kelman. I was like, why is Todd Kelman coming to my flat? And then he just goes into the flat opposite me. It turns out Jardine was living there.
Is that right? Well, Jards
Yeah,
is one of the biggest shed guys in the world. I had so much fun at the testimonial with him.
yeah. I caught up with him for a beer after it all. Such a good guy.
Oh yeah, and I guess that's another way we know each other was you were then working for the Devils when I came over for this testimonial, and you were out on the ice when Hero scored his big goal. You were videoing it, right?
Yeah, that was just luck. I thought whilst they're doing a skills competition, I'll check the skates on, see if I can get some good content, and then that just happened right in front of me. And stuff like that is awesome to film. Like when you have like a kid who's scoring a goal and you got the whole crowd going nuts, and that must be such a good feeling. I played
Right.
junior hockey, never had that because I don't. In fact, I don't think I ever scored in junior.
Well, that's just so hockey, right? And then the parents and he has that memory for life that you were there videoing it, right? It's like phones and videos weren't around as much when I was playing, but jeepers, if you do if you do look on YouTube, you can find some shit out there, and
Yeah,
if
definitely.
people weren't capturing those moments, then I wouldn't have them. I mean, I know there's one out there of Colby ripping around at the big blue tent throwing snowballs at the fans, right? And that's fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, it must be like great to look back, like especially as a pro player, look back and you see all this like footage there, whether or not it's someone like me with a big camera or just a fan, just like those memories you have.
Well, and that's what's weird is when I first came back from hockey, I didn't look at anything to do with hockey. It was almost like a sore spot. I didn't look at any of the awards or team pictures. I didn't even watch the video of us winning in Denmark because I was still so rattled that they didn't want me back. And similar in Bietigheim, I had never watched that stuff until I came out to my shed and got a lot of stuff off my chest. And now all of a sudden, I love hockey more than I ever have. And then now I can watch all that stuff and I'm at peace with it all.
That's good. That's good. That's good that you're back and you're loving the sport. It's like you said in your intro, it's something that pulls me back all the time. I've had so many good work opportunities, but somehow it's like they got a bungee cord on me. I'm always pulled back to the rink somehow.
Yeah, and I actually, I guess I knew that you had made that documentary. I knew there was an episode out there, and that was one of those things I couldn't really bring myself to watch it because I thought it would make me miss being with the Devils and that life and what I used to get to do. So it wasn't until I guess before work this morning I actually checked out the first half to see just so we could discuss it. But it did make me miss hockey, and it made me miss being one of the players on a team.
Well, that's one thing as well. What I approached Todd to make this documentary in like June or something, and then eventually gets approved. And I never thought about this until some of the players. I think it was Cody Donaghy said to me, "Is like this is going to be something that's great that in like 10 years I can look back and watch." I was like, never crossed my mind that like the players will be reminiscing on this in the future. And I think that as well,
I
like
think
when
it's
you
wicked
retire.
awesome you're doing this for those guys. There was actually one done when we played. It was a student at Cardiff University. Fun fact, his mom had taught me in like high school, and he was over in Cardiff, and he chose to do his like final final project for sports broadcasting or whatever as a documentary on the Cardiff Devils. And you can Google it. I think it's called A Long Way from Home, the story of the Cardiff Devils. And the way that guy discusses it, and now I have that memory that you can Google it and find this video. I rewatch that and it brings back so many memories, and I get to see Colby as a little guy on the ice in that video. And man, the memories you're making for the current Devils, it's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's the next episode is going to be a lot more player focused as well. So obviously, Bouncy's just had a kid, so I think we're going to do a little bit of content there, and that's something
Yeah.
that his little girl in like 10 years time is like, this is literally the weeks after you go on call on camera. That's awesome, and that was one thing as well at the testimonial you touched on, filming that gender reveal for Batchy. Like I had
Right.
such a nice message of him. It's like that's just like created such an amazing memory for us. It's like didn't even think about that. I just thought it was just good content.
I it's yeah, I guess you wouldn't even realize what you do though. And it was the same with the photographers. I remember when I was with the Devils, there was Helen Braben that she would photograph such unbelievable photos of me with Colby or Zoe on the ice. And then when I retired, she made up like it's like a little book that had 18 Walton, a picture of my jersey, and then gave us a thing with all the pictures to keep, and it was like that's pretty cool to have.
That's awesome. Like hockey people are such good people. Like I think that
Right.
something like that, like to Helen, I probably didn't really take too long. I probably didn't think too much of it, but it means a world to like you.
Yeah, and I that documentary, man, you're really running amok, eh? You know what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, I've always been like way too obsessed with sports documentaries. So like my girlfriend's not like before she met me, she wasn't big into sport, but now she's done so much work in sport because I just chuck sports documentaries on all the time. Is that she started getting into them. Like she actually really loves golf now. But I just watched so many that I kind of knew the formula and how to do it, and that just worked so much better than I thought. I mean, Todd Calman said to me when he watched it, it's like I thought it was going to be good. I didn't think it'd be that good.
Yeah, no, it's high end, man. It's wild actually that you made that. And I saw it's already at like 8,000 views on YouTube.
Yeah, around that now, which it doesn't seem like that much, but for UK hockey, that's a big number.
God, way more than people talk listening to me talking the shit, that's for sure.
I know you're pulling in good numbers and you're churning them out as well. So I think there's a decent amount of people listening to you.
I just pump them out because this is what I like to do and it's fun, you know?
That's good
That's,
though. It's good that you found a passion and something that is good and people enjoy, and like as
no,
long as you're enjoying making them, that's the main thing.
exactly. And that's actually another way we know each other. I bring my fat ass back for a Wally night and I went to the oyster catcher with all my crew of the fans that I always hung out with on the bus and everything, and the creepy stalker neighbors and Baz and everybody. But when we were there, I still remember this. You asked me to come on your podcast.
Yes, my short-lived podcast from years ago. I think we all stood around. I was just chatting with my old man. You walked in, we're just chatting away. I thought it was a good opportunity to get someone on my podcast, and then just never really did anything with that podcast anyway. But that
Yeah, you never
look,
reached out again, I don't think.
it took us a couple of years, but we managed to do it just the other way around.
That's right. Yeah. So I guess you got sidetracked with what you're doing now and stopped doing it then, eh?
Yeah, so I was working in a call center at the time, and I was just trying to find something to keep myself going because I wasn't enjoying my work. I wasn't enjoying a lot of things at the time. I was in a pretty bad place. And then, weirdly enough, COVID hit. I saw this is a chance to reset, quit my job, went back to uni,
Hmm.
and I haven't looked back since. Like, honestly, like, COVID for me was pretty cool. I actually kind of enjoyed myself.
Um, well, that was also like I was working from home and in my shed, and it you know I took more courses to better myself in what I do for a day job, and I was finishing those courses, and then all of a sudden it dawned on me to start this and be the guy I want to be the hockey guy, be Wally, and it's life-changing stuff, and it was from not being in the office 40 hours a week. It was working from home. And just all of a sudden, it was like, I want to get back into that side of the world, you know?
Yeah, I think people benefit as well because it's one of the things working in content, you can always tell when someone's doing something because they're being paid for it compared to when someone just wants to do it. Like
Right.
listening to your stuff, like you can tell that you just enjoy chatting with the guys. You enjoy catching up with old friends, making new friends, and I think that
Pretty
it
fun.
makes a good product.
Yeah. And then when people start like chucking chocolate all over the world on the ice, like that's living, you know?
That's when you know you've made it, when you got people throwing stuff.
Right. And Kit Kat Get That should be back. Evan Mosey's back. I just need to get him in the shed and we're gonna lock this down and fun is gonna be fun, you know? And then
Yeah,
we'll and then it's like the world all worked itself out. Max got his Twix up in Herning, Denmark. They even got a cardboard cutout of him in the lobby with where to sell Twix. Like that's hockey. That's
that's
cool.
insane.
And then Mosey is now we're gonna just make it rain Kit Kats, and then the chocolatey Manchester Storm are just having a time too, you know?
Yeah, having Mosey back in Cardiff is just going to add to the fun. And I think that this year, making a documentary on a team, if at any point I just need a bit of lighthearted humor, just put a camera in front of Evan Mosey and just let him just do whatever he wants.
Can you get the when we get the Kit Kats going? I'm just thinking out loud now because I want to get Jake, Mac, and Mosey on together as soon as we can make it happen, and we're gonna get the Kit Kats carried away. Can we get that in the documentary? Can we get some Kit Kats up in there?
Yeah, I'm sure we can. I think
If
anything.
it happens, can you get the Kit Kat rain in the documentary for me? Because then
Yeah,
I will have
100%.
that memory too, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's something that it'll just be fun content that people enjoy, and I can tell a bit of the backstory as well. And that'd be a cool one. Like just
Wouldn't it?
talking about how former Devils players have inspired stuff, and former Devils players are doing these podcasts as well.
I think that would be pretty sweet, man, and that'd be pretty memorable, and then I'd feel like I'm still part of the game, right?
I think you are, like, with all your podcasts and how much like people listen to you. You're definitely still part of the game.
I know it's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, and I guess like from what I understand is there's teams listening to find out what hockey players want and should how you should run it. And I thought, geez, if people actually treat hockey players better because of what I'm saying in my shed, that's living, right?
100%. I think that being around players, you can just kind of tell that there's a lot of them feel lucky that they play a game for a living, but they also just want to have fun. And
Right. And but also
anything,
feel appreciated, right? Like I
yeah,
find it's weird in the world that not many people like say nice things to each other. You know, it's like I can say something nice to these kids, and it's like you can just tell that it's like, whoa, I'm not used to people saying I did good, you know?
yeah. No, I get that. Like, I used to be as guilty of that as anyone, though. I used to be so miserable and just so like down. I'd never have a good thing to say. I would always complain, but change my life, change my mindset on everything. And now it's just like, if you can make someone feel a little bit better, just do it. Like, even
Right.
if it's just a good job.
Oh, and it's I guess the same for me was like the email I got from Todd Kelman leaving Cardiff after Wally night was like life-changing stuff to read because he wrote something really nice and it was like, wow, you actually think that of me?
Yeah, Todd's a good guy though. Todd is like, if he believes in you, he'll go to bat for you. And I think that that's one thing. Like, obviously, Todd's technically my boss right now, and it's just fun working for him because he's very on board with what I'm doing, and he's very much like pushing me to keep doing as good of a job as I can. And I just enjoy going
He
into
can
work and
motivate people. I believe he's a motivator, I believe is
a
what you call
hundred
it.
percent, 100%.
Good attention to detail, and he motivates people to be the best they can be. You know?
Yeah, and I think that's what you need from someone in Todd's position as well. You want a guy who, he's not just there for a paycheck. He's there because he wants the Devils to win trophies, and
He's
I want to win
passionate
trophies.
about his brand and his the everything, the winning.
Yeah,
Yeah, passion.
100% passion.
Hmm. Okay, better keep going. So what some of the content you did make was it was pretty neat to see Mosey back in a Devils jersey, but you got his like overtime winner, and you could see the passion in him when he scored that too.
Yeah, that's that type of content for me to film is just so much fun. I love that low angle stuff. Even if it wasn't for the documentary, I'd probably still be doing it just for social media now because I just love filming that and capturing, like you said, the emotion. Get a nice tight angle. You can see how much it meant to him. Same with there was a overtime winner by Marcus Crawford. Like, just the low angle of that is just unbelievable. But seeing Mosey back, seeing, like, especially that last year in Cardiff, COVID interrupted it. He missed so much of the time. It felt like, I don't know about him. I'm maybe putting words in his mouth, but maybe it's like unfinished business for him. So
Oh
coming
yeah,
back, getting on that, getting a goal, because when he came back, I think he only played like 8 games in that COVID season, and he was like phenomenal. He was
I didn't
on
realize
fire.
how little he was in Cardiff. I thought he was like a staple there, but yeah, like he is gonna bring the fun and make it a lighter locker room, and everybody's gonna be enjoying their day more because he's around, and
Yeah,
he'll do whatever it takes for the team to win.
and you can see that as well. I think in the documentary, the guys, there's a few scenes in there where guys are just like having a little bit of a joke. Like Cole Yulee is underrated, funny guy in the room. Duggan as well is just a very
He
funny guy.
is.
So
You
I think
know
that
that Duggan, he still like watches the pregame speech of me naked on Wally night. Like he still watches that creepo, and now he's saying that he doesn't. He's not sure if he wants to come to the shed anymore. You imagine that? We started
I've not
Buenos
seen
for the
that
boys
video.
together, and he watches naked videos of me, and now he's not coming to the shed. That's incredible.
I need to see that video because I've not seen it. That
No,
sounds
you
weird. I
don't.
want to see it
No,
though.
that stays in people's devices. That it's not to be shared, right? Sharing is only caring when it comes to shed stuff, not naked videos of me doing pregame speeches.
I think if we have another Wally night this year, maybe I'll have to put the camera down, but don't think we can broadcast it.
No, you can't be videoing that, man. That's sicko Franny would be though. I wouldn't even know, and there'd be Franny hiding in a corner videoing me like beat up Dees with a hammer. But it's good memories to have now.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely great memories for you.
Yeah, I don't think we're winning any film awards though.
No, maybe adult film awards.
Yeah. Uh, Let's be quite the documentary. So, where and what are you doing now?
So today's day off. We got back from Sheffield about midnight last night. Went up with the team. Um, Actually just come back from Cardiff Met, giving a bit of a guest lecture to students on the course I just did. Come back, and now I'm just hanging out with you for the evening.
You went back and were a guest lecturer at the Met?
Yeah, yeah, second time.
That is running a muck, sir.
Yeah, I did it the year after I finished the course because they just kind of wanted. I at the time I was working full time for the Devils, and I was like, I can offer work experience, get some free help, and because of COVID, we couldn't really get anything going. This year was just more just to say I'm doing this documentary, and if anyone wants to get involved, they can. But also just to give a little bit of a speech. I think I was the second one there today, just to kind of like talk about where I've been since graduating that course.
Right. Well, and it's pretty neat all the things you've done. And by the way, before I forget, because I probably will, is I have a raffle up right now at aleshockeytales.com of Ryan O'Reilly signed pucks. We got 5 of them. I helped him out in the summer doing skill work with him on the ice, and my son got to go out, and he was kind enough to sign 5 pucks. And so we're having a raffle. They're one of a kind, folks. I bet you've never had a Kincardine Minor hockey puck signed by Ryan O'Reilly, right? Or a Western Michigan Broncos puck, you know? Some interesting pucks on that raffle. So check it out, folks. aleshockeytales.com. But anyways, moving on. You went to Qatar.
Yes,
Did you listen to
that
the
was,
shed while you were there? Because when that World Cup was going on, all of a sudden I had Qatar on the list countries listened.
so that I can't remember if I did, but I think one of the other guys may have done. There's a guy Dan Rutherford. He commentates for Devils now. He went out there as well, and I think he listens as well. But whilst I was there, we were just like a bit too busy to really be consuming anything other
Hmm.
than the food that we got whilst we we're there. But Qatar was a hell of a place. Like when we when I applied for the job to go out there, I kind of like heard all this stuff about like it might not be the best place to go. When we got there first day, we had like a talk where it's like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. And it was definitely one of those ones just to try and keep people straight and not get anyone in trouble or deported. But whilst we were there, it was like I'd be interested to go back now when the World Cup's not on, where
See
there's
what,
no media
yeah.
just to see what it if it is the same. But honestly, when I was there, I was blown away. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I've never been over that direction, but it's pretty neat when you see who's all been listening to me talk shit in my shed. It's like, man, it's like almost up nearly up to 90 countries or something now. It's crazy.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, it probably would have either been myself or Dan Rather who was listening in Qatar.
Well, it makes it not a big world, right? When you see stuff like that, and then all of a sudden it's there, and you know of people that are over there, and you're like, I bet you it's
Yeah,
him listening. And
yeah,
it's the same as like today, Dominic Hammer, episode 321, just sent me pictures of him at Oktoberfest today running amok. And it's like, man, that's the stuff you cherish when you're out of the game for, almost 10 years now, that you still get pictures of people having fun, right?
yeah, exactly. And then you get to come over every now and then and have fun in Cardiff.
I sure do. Every time I come, it's been really fun.
Yeah. How much of it do you remember though?
All of it. I do.
Good.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Tiring weekends though. Holy
Oh yeah, I
moly.
bet. I bet.
So how did you get into all these other sports? Like, I know you did the University for Sports Broadcasting, but how do you start working for like darts and snooker and stuff? Or going to the
Uh,
World Cup of soccer?
so World Cup was my lecturer had an email from a guy who was looking for people to actually go out to do some work on a contract he had got, and he sent it to like pretty much some of the students he thought would be available. So I applied for it. Dan Rutherk applied for it as well. My girlfriend actually applied for it and she got it too. So we all end up out there just for. I was there for 4 weeks. Dan and my girlfriend were out there for 6, and it was just unbelievable. Darts was I if I want something like a job, I'm relentless. So I emailed this one company like probably about once a month for about 11 months. Then eventually they got back to me and said, "We've got this. Do you want to come?" I was like, "Yep, cool. I'll come up." So I've
That's
done
cool.
darts a couple of times. Same company
So
with
what
snooker.
exactly do you do when you get there? Are you videoing it or what are you doing?
So I haven't done too much video stuff other than with the Devils. A lot of the stuff I've done is social media. So the darts and snooker is actually live broadcast directing. So basically in charge of like swapping cameras for live broadcast, which is a lot of fun. Setting up as well, which is not as fun. It's quite tiring. But a lot of stuff I've done social media wise with like FIFA, UEFA, Live Golf, uh, Paralympics. Like I've done 2
So
Paralympics as
you're
well.
doing their social media, so you're posting like what's going on and making it look
Yeah,
nice and all that stuff.
Yeah, so I've done that for a few different organizations. I did live golf quite a bit over the summer, and that was a lot of fun because I'm a massive golf fan anyway. That's a great time to be. World Rugby as well. I've done so much with them over the last 2 years, but I had to duck out of them just before the World Cup to do this documentary.
Right. So yeah, you're traveling the world and being a part of sports, and that doesn't sound like that bad of a deal, eh?
Yeah, most of the stuff I've done is working from home, which is quite good. I mean, sometimes you're watching these events from home, going, "I'd love to be there," but also I get to just finish work and just go out in my own city, go and have food in my favorite restaurants and all that.
Yeah.
But any chance I have to actually go on site, I'd love to do it. Like Tar was, the job itself probably is one that, looking back, we probably could have done from home, but just the experience of being out in Qatar for that month was unbelievable. So I'm not going to complain that they sent me.
I'd imagine. Yeah, that is pretty cool. So I guess it must have been a pretty neat day when all everything comes back around and you're hired by your favorite hockey team, eh?
Yeah, so technically being hired by them twice now. So I finished the course in 2021, got a job on a cricket for the summer, and then had an email from Todd. So literally the day I finished the cricket, I went straight to his office. We had a meeting about the 21-22 season, was media manager there, went freelance at the end of the year, and then literally I was just thinking of like what I wanted to do with my career over like spring, like April time. And then I started thinking, well, I love documentaries. I want to make a documentary. So I was thinking, what can I do? It's like I was kind of in 2 minds about whether or not to approach Todd. So it's like, well, I've technically worked for him and quit. So would he have me back? And
Right.
then I just put together a pitch, sent it to him. We had a meeting. He's like, I love the idea. We just need to think about this. And just literally, I think everything worked out perfectly because
Oh,
a week
Todd's gonna be
before,
eating this stuff up. This is like the best publicity ever.
I think as well, like he sees the value in stuff like that. Like he
Well, and
genuinely
it never disappears too, right? It's like once you
exactly.
make this and it's out there, it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
the episode one's at 8,000 views now, but like what's it gonna be at in 5 years from now?
exactly. And I think as well, he just sees the value in putting some money aside towards stuff like this, just so that it's one, the publicity, and two, it's stuff that fans they probably haven't been crying out for, but now they're watching it going, why haven't we had this before?
Well, and
Like I
every
know,
other team's gonna be jealous of it too.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if in a couple of years you see pretty much every team in the league really invest in their media, because I think some teams have started doing it and some teams are doing really well. Others need to catch up a bit, but I think that you know whether or not the Devils are leading the way in that, as long as someone is, and then it drags everyone else up to the same level, it just makes the league so much better.
Well, it is neat to see where it's at now, the league as media and everything that's posted. when you see it from here, and then you remember what it was like when we were there, and it's like it's wild how far the teams
Yeah.
have come at knowing how to promote hockey. Yeah.
Yeah, it's worlds apart from what it used to be, and it's getting better every year, which is all you can really ask for. As long as it's not getting worse, that's all you can really ask for. As long as every single team is putting out good content, good highlights, just getting their brand out there because this is
Right.
as
Well,
Cody
and even
showed.
for the families that are back in North America to get to see the highlights the next day, right? If you put those on
Yeah,
YouTube and they can see the goals and see their sons scoring and playing hockey, like that's what you'd want.
yeah, I think for the families back home as well, just they just sort of just seeing what the city's like. Like
Yeah.
if it's being showcasing where players living for like the parents of that players, like, oh, okay, we're gonna come over and have a good time. Like that place looked good. We know where to go.
Well, it's once you've seen something and you know what it's like, you can then picture it, right? It's like when I would go over to Germany until my parents came to see where we were, it's like they wouldn't know what it was like.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think as well, like I've never actually been to Scotland, so I can't really speak on it. But every place I've been to up and down the league is, it's a good place to play. And I think everyone thinks that, like there's every place has got like drawbacks, but they've also got so many positives.
Yeah. And Manchester, they get lots of chocolate when they win. And I think Mosey should get more Kit Kats in Cardiff, right?
And Manchester's a good city as well. It's a really good place to go and visit. I've been there a couple of times this year. It's a really nice place.
I think it'd be fun that when Mosey and Duggan do their stupid clap thing, that people throw chocolate bars at Sam because he won't come to the shed anymore. Like try and hit him, right? Um, that'd be fun. But
Well, you put the words out there and people listen to you, so I think that might happen next game now.
well, that clap is ridiculous. And if you're not coming to the shed, we're gonna chuck chocolate at you, at your face,
Good clap. It gets people happy.
right?
Makes people happy.
I can't believe he would say he's not sure if he's coming to the shed anymore. Like he came on with my kids, my 2 years ago, coaching with them, and then we got Buenos for the boys to happen, and the ice was covered in Buenos, and that was a memory those kids will have forever. And it's like, and then he was even kind enough to send Evan a birthday video, and like these kids, like Sam Duggan was their favorite player, and for a bit there, Colby wanted to switch to number 16 because of Sam, and it's like the impact that the shed can have is wild.
Yeah, I'm sure Dougie will come at some point. Just been focused. He's been focusing a lot on preseason. He's been working really hard. So I think,
You only play
now
for a
he's
couple hours a day. He's got time. What's he doing? Napping? Get up,
probably
Sam. I'm gonna chuck chocolate right at your face. So, what do you think about the rebrand?
I actually quite like it. So it was kept so secretive. So when they announced it, I found out about it maybe an hour before. So I had an hour to film the jersey reveal with the new logo and put it out there. And I remember looking at it and thinking it's different. It's probably something that's going to take fans a while to get used to, but I quite like it.
I see all the guys going out with these big gold chains on after the games.
Yeah,
Like, I just was thinking how ridiculous I would look with a big gold chain on, you know?
I don't know. I reckon it would suit you. We had Goldie looking Chain at the game on the weekend. Have you heard of them?
No.
They're a Welsh comedy band. They got some pretty
Comedy
interesting,
band?
yeah, like comedy rap group. They got some interesting songs. I think their most famous one is probably a song called "Guns Don't Kill People, Rappers Do." But then they've also got some other smash hits. A song called "Your Mother's Got a Penis." That's a good song. Check them out after this. They are a fun listen.
Your mom has a penis as one of their songs.
Yeah.
Jeepers.
Yeah, so we had two of the guys down on the weekend just to sort of jump on
It
the
is
sword.
interesting how far the Devils has come, though. Like when I look back on my first year there at the Big Blue Tent, and I mean that's obviously why I've taken a shine to Manchester is the great guys they have on that team, and the coach. And but like they remind me of us. They're a small budget team in the same type of barn, and it's like when we started winning that year. I don't know if people would remember this, but after a month or so in, we were in like eighth place. And then we went on a heater when we became a family and a team, and we were like brothers, and we all were in it for each other, not for ourselves. And then to see it kind of happened with Manchester last year, and they make the playoffs for the first time in 4 years, and fun is fun, and then chocolate's happening. They do remind me of Cardiff back then, but Cardiff, what it is now, is quite the operation, isn't it?
Yeah, it's wildly different. I remember those tent days. It was just the rink was a dump, but it was our dump. So I think the fans just kind of embraced the fact that like other fans are going to come to this rink and make fun of it because it's terrible. But it's like it's our terrible rink, so we
But
love
it's
it.
awesome. It was
Yeah,
awesomely
like
terrible.
I worked for a while in that rink, just like as staff, and I love that rink. I have
So
so
did
many good
I,
memories.
man. That was home.
Yeah, I have so many good memories there. All like the massive rats you'd see outside, the unbelievably huge spiders everywhere,
Oh,
and just
the
the ice
the
melting.
end of the second half of that season, man, our showers didn't drain. They were like up, it was up to our ankles.
I remember as well, like the Devils locker room, if they were filling up the Zamboni, you couldn't get hot water in there.
Yeah, yeah.
That
There was
was
some quirks to it. And then our ice baths that Lordo would force me in, just brutal, were garbage cans. And like we'd have power cords to get to the skate sharpener and it'd all be in water. There was definitely some safety issues around there.
yeah, definitely a few health and safety problems there. But
Pretty sure
nowadays,
there was a sinkhole in the one locker room one year.
oh yeah, the away room. Yeah, I remember that one being shut down because the floor basically caved in. I remember actually I was
What a
working
spot.
in the rink when that happened. I walked past it. We had like builders in to repair it. And I'm walking past, all I hear is this grown man just scream. And I was popping my head and went, have you seen rats? He's like, yeah, loads. I went, yeah, we probably should have warned you.
Well, cool thing is, small world too, is that that arena moved to Leeds, and now they throw chocolate on the ice after wins there too.
Yeah. I forgot that went to Leeds actually.
Yeah, it's called the Castle now. The Big Blue
Oh,
Tent
cool.
became the Castle. What a history that barn's got, right?
That's an upgrade of a name. That's a hell of
It
an
it looks
upgrade.
great, man. It's a sweet barn now.
Yeah.
It always
It's
was.
it's got its own like vibe to it. It's a nice building, but you know,
Yeah.
I think we ran our course in that building. We were
Uh,
there a little bit too long.
yeah, and it's interesting when they get the new one because once it's there, it's there, and if you wanted to change anything about it, you can't now. So
Yeah.
may as well love what you got, right?
Yeah. I think it's helped a lot as well because it's given like a bit more stability to the actual club to have like a building that you're not worrying that's going to fall over.
Right. Yeah. Um, yeah, it was an interesting when I had played in Denmark, won the championship, and then, signed with Cardiff. And I don't know, I didn't really look that much into it. I took Dan Seaman's word. And I knew who Lordo was from playing against him, but then rolling into the parking lot and seeing the big blue tent in person was like, whoa.
I remember, I think it was maybe like 2 years before you, the Devils signed a goalie called Dan Lacosta,
Oh
and
yeah,
he's
I know him. He was a Daytona Beach bomber with me and Hendo.
oh nice. I
Yeah.
think he said something like he thought like the Big Blue Tent was like the beer garden where everyone goes before a game, and then he got there. It's like, oh no, this is where I'm playing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the rink. It's the barn. It's a good one too. One it might be my favorite rink. That and the old Bietigheim Arena. Really
Yeah.
run amok there. And Landsuits Arena back when it was an old German barn. Pretty sweet places I got to play. You know? Okay. So the team's good this year though, eh?
Yeah, team's looking very good. And like you can see in the documentary, Duggan touches on this about like the team needing to keep the vibe going. It's such a close group this year. Like it's reminding me of like a fresh start. And I think that it's what the team needs after, the last 2 years where, it's really good that you can have a team that finishes where they did last year, like fourth last year, and it's like the worst thing because it wasn't too long ago we were just scraping the playoffs.
Yeah, well, it was, I guess the year before I got to Cardiff was they missed the playoffs, right?
Yeah, and it's the first time and the only time they've ever missed the playoffs. So to see that it's good when you have a fan base that demands that much because they know the team can be that good because it shows that the team's going in the right direction.
Well, they're quite spoiled, those fans are over the last decade or 7 years, 8 years. Seen a lot of winning go on from my device over here.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of winning from like the Lordo era, and then after COVID, we kind of need to get back to that. We've got the playoff title from the first year back, and I think this year, I think the main thing is whether or not there's a trophy at the end of the year. I think the fans will see that it's going the right direction. You've got Pete Russell, who's going to his resume speaks for himself, and you've got a group of players who, at the moment, I'm not. I'm in the locker room all the time, and I don't see a single guy that I'm looking at going, "You might be a problem." Every single guy looks to be really on it and just hold each other accountable and just want to win.
Yeah, and that guy does seem like a good coach. You can see it in your documentary, but I just saw it from going to the testimonial and seeing the type of guy he was, and that he was there the whole night for Batchy, right till the bitter end, right to Chippy Lane, and he's funny. But like he seems like the type of coach I'd want to play for, that he's honest, he holds you accountable, and like you better work hard. And he seems the message he has seems to be like we need to be ready because winning isn't easy. It's hard and everybody needs to be in it together. And he seems like he knows how to direct the ship.
Yeah, he's like obviously I've never played pro sports, so I don't really know too much about it. But to me, he seems like the perfect motivator. Like he'll hold guys accountable, and like you said, he'll be honest. He
Yeah.
won't. He's not afraid to tell you if you've had a bad game or if you're not performing. But I think that what he's bringing to the team is just everything is working well, and he is, like I said, his resume speaks for himself. What he's done with GB,
What he's done
like
with GB, but then
phenomenal.
also like every country plays hockey different. Every country hockey's different. And for him to just roll into the second league in Germany and win it twice, like you can just tell he's a coach, man.
Oh yeah, 100%. He's and like you said, he's a very funny guy as well. He's
Right.
got a great sense of humor, and he's not afraid to just get involved and have a few jokes with the guys. But when it's time to work, it's time to work.
Well, he told me my favorite hockey story ever. Thank you, Pete. Made my day. I won't bring it up now because it was in the locker room, but it made my whole career. It all came full circle and everything works out in the wash. And thank you for telling me about that whistle in the guy's butt. Poster picks. Um, poster picks. You're a kid with a player that signed it for you, and who's the player?
So that was back when I was playing junior. We had so as a junior program, we had like Devils players come on all the time. That was Jeff Burgoyne. He was defenseman at the time for the team, and I
And is that the old barn downtown?
yes, that was the one in the center of the city center. That's all I am. That's when I was playing juniors. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you were pretty young there though, eh? Like probably 9 or 10.
yeah, about that. But yeah, he was a great guy on and off the ice. I really really got on with him, and I remember as a mascot one game, and like I bought like my parents had, like bought me a whole new kit, and he straight away like as I was skating out with the team, he's like complimenting my new stick, complimenting all that, and just small interactions like that
And that's
means
all it takes, right? From players like I don't know, some players just don't get it, but like it doesn't take much to just have a quick little interaction with a kid going by, right?
yeah, 100%. And I really got on with him. I think it was him and Kurt Walsh came to my school one time, and like they gave like a talk about like nutrition and everything like that, and that stuck with me. And like because they all came and they're like talking to me, like knew who I was. I was like the coolest kid in school for like a week.
Yeah, and that is cool. And it's interesting what shed guys can do for kids when you just make a little time for them. And I know Sam Duggan and Mosey are those guys. They're the type of guys you need, and they will make an impact on kids around. So is Joey Martin. And like the people Cardiff have playing for them, Todd knows how to find the right guys, you know?
Yeah. And that's one thing like Pete was saying that he wanted to get the right guys in, and I think he's done that. And Dougie as well, like around like the kids, he's phenomenal with them. Like during warm up, whenever we have puck sponsors on the bench, he'll come over and speak to every single one of them, give every single one of them a fist bump, and small interactions like that mean so much. And
Mhm.
he gets it 100%.
Oh yeah. Okay, next poster pick. You got your fancy camera at like a soccer field doing like a sexy pose for the camera, eh?
Well, I don't know if it's sexy, if it's just me, but that was actually British American football. Like after I finished my undergrad degree, I was trying to break into media and failed miserably. And that was just one of the pictures I have that still makes me laugh to this day.
Yeah. Okay, and then there's a few of you playing hockey. You got your head up. You look like you're a heads up, stay at home D man, eh? But pretty mobile.
More of a should have stayed at home D man, but I try my best. That's just a few charity tournaments I played in over the years.
Yeah, the
Represented
charity
people.
all stars, like they do a great job of raising money for a bunch of charities, don't they?
Yeah, that's the one thing. The first one is when I was like, I think I was 19 or something. Played for prostate cancer, Wales Air Ambulance, most recently Barbarians, where you could pick a charity. So I raised money for Stroke Association, and that was just those charity events are honestly phenomenal. They've become such like an important part of the UK hockey like calendar. And the guys who run them, like Gareth Havoc, Dave Grant, there's a few others whose names I can't even remember off the top of my head. They do such a phenomenal job, and they've raised so much money for amazing causes.
Yeah, it's pretty neat what they do every year. And I had James Pepper on way back when he was gonna captain one of the teams. But yeah, it's a
Yeah,
small world when then like I heard last year at it, a guy was saved on the ice, like he collapsed,
yeah,
eh?
yeah. That happened right in front of me as well. That was terrifying.
I'd imagine.
Literally, I just heard a thud and I thought, oh, maybe there's been a hit in a non-contact thing. I was like, that's a bit shitty. Looked over, I was like, this isn't looking good. But then all the guys who were like the first responders there just did such a amazingly quick job. And if it wasn't for them, he wouldn't be here. And
Yeah,
like right now in the arena, because he basically collapsed in when the face-off starts. And now there's just his initials painted into the ice.
yeah. Wow,
Yeah,
that's wicked that they
yeah,
saved him and he's okay.
yeah.
Wild. Okay. Next one, poster pick with your gal with your Welsh hats on and your Welsh outfit. So I'm guessing that's the World Cup.
Yeah. So whilst we were there, we there was still some tickets available. We finished work probably about like 8 p.m. at night. Game kicked off at 10. Quickly jumped on the media bus from where we were working, which is like the main media center. We got to go see Wales USA. So the
How
only
much are
game
those tickets?
too much,
Yeah.
a little bit too much. But for me, like I'm a huge Welsh football fan. Like it was the first World Cup game for Wales since 1958. As
Right.
soon as I found out there was tickets and I was available, I was like, "There's no way I'm not going."
And you're in Qatar. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually. So we jumped on the media bus from like the media center, and like we're just there just talking. Next thing you know, there's these like three Argentinian guys, just like actual media, and he stands up at the microphone, and then a light goes on, and the camera goes on. It's like, oh, he's just gonna probably get ready. And next thing you know, there's a microphone just in my face. I was like, oh, I'm now live on Argentinian TV. I've never seen the clip, luckily.
That's cool. It would have been quite the experience being over there. Right?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. And like the stadium, like considering it's in the middle of the desert, the stadium was so cold. Like they'd air conditioned it a bit too well.
Mm, yeah, you want to sweat when you're playing soccer.
Yeah, and I just sat there in the stands, just like kind of like huddling into myself. So it's that cold.
So next poster pick, you're in like quite the suit, purple
Yeah.
with like snowflakes on it. But were you doing like play by play there?
I think I was doing color then because that's when I was color commentator for the team for a couple of years. But that's my Christmas suit that I think it cost me like £20. And when you feel the material, you can tell why. It's
Yeah.
terrible material. I remember I bought it for a Christmas party in the Big Blue tent. And one of the guys there was like, I bet that suit's flammable. I was like, let's not try and find out. And then as the night went on, a few more drinks, I was like, why is my wrist hot? And we found out it is flammable. Set fire to the wrist.
Yeah,
Like,
very
thanks very much.
very nice suit game there. So did you like the color commentating and play like that stuff?
Yeah, it was something that I kind of did. I just kind of fell into it. So Ado, who runs the stream down the Devils, he was doing the Cardiff Fire. So the league, like I think they're like 3 leagues below now. Think they're the league below at that time, and they were going to stream those games. They needed someone. He just asked me. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll do play by play. The year after, there was an opportunity to come up to the Devils to do color, and I was like, yeah, cool, I'll do that. So I think I did that for 3 seasons. Like I've done one game so far this year because Gaz, the guy who is the main commentator, he was on a stag do, so he just got married, and then Dan, who replaced me as color, he was away as well. So it's myself and Franny on commentary.
Oh yeah, Franny. Franny's involved in everything, eh?
Oh, 100%. He basically,
Utility player.
yeah, 100%. He'll do a little bit of everything. You can tell how much the club means to him. He's been involved. Well, I figured out whilst we are commentating, he's been involved with the club about the same amount of time that I've been involved with living.
Yeah, and me and him had a good back and forth the other day. It was pretty funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't say why, what it was about, but I'll just stick to myself out here, right?
that's right. Franny's a good guy.
Oh, he's the best. Yeah. Yeah, you guys have quite the squad, and I'm curious how much players make nowadays. Like I'm curious what kind of budget the Cardiff Devils have now, because like they have 4 lines of players. And like when I played there the first year, we were a 3-line team with one
I,
extra.
I don't know. I know nothing about budgets in terms of like players. I don't wouldn't even be able to tell you how much any of the players make. But I think that's just the way the league's gone. I think the league has really just managed to find a way to make four line hockey work in this league, just to try and bring up the standard. And I think it's worked.
Oh yeah, no, they got a squad. Okay. Anyways, the other thing I was going to mention is one of my shed sponsors that like sponsored the website, the Red Dragon Group, were on your hockey pants in the one game, by the way. They like sponsoring good things. Just
Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name. Is it Craig?
I don't know.
Oh well, one of the guys I've seen him come into Devil's office, and I'm pretty sure it was that group. Really nice guy.
Yeah, no, and it's great when people support what I'm doing, right?
Yeah, I understand
Thanks.
it.
Thanks, guys. Right?
Makes things easier for you.
Who are your favorite Devils all time?
All time, probably Jeff Burgoyne, the guy who was in the photo with, just because he had that much of an impact on me as a junior player. Uh, really liked Mike Ware and Mike McWilliam. Those are two guys who could throw hands like nobody else. I remember Mike Ware in particular. I think we are playing Guildford. This is back in the rink in town, and he's in the penalty box. Nicky Chin, Welsh guy who's playing for Guildford, he's just out on the ice, just acting a fool, just doing something. Mike Ware just rips open the door, goes on the ice, just lays into him, goes straight back to the penalty box, kicks the fire exit door open, and just walks out on the street in his skates. So he's probably ruined his steel. And then just, I don't even know if he got a suspension for it, but he was a guy that off the
Why
ice was
why would he
so
have
nice.
walked out of the arena in his skates?
I have no idea. There was a fire
So he
exit,
had
like,
so he had beat the guy up, then just left.
well, he walked out and then came back. I think he just walked out just because he was that mad. But in
Right.
the old drink penalty
It's a bit of
box,
erratic behavior, I would say.
yeah, there was a fire exit right behind the penalty box. You just literally kicked that door.
Jeepers.
Yeah,
Um, so that old what so you've been to all three Cardiff arenas, eh? It's pretty neat knowing
yeah,
all the history of this Devils team I'm so fond of, right?
yeah. It's So I don't even remember my first game because I was that young. I started going in like the mid 90s. But like the old rink in town was a great place to grow up and watch games. The second rink, the tent, was a great place to just grow up working and just having a great fun because the staff who worked there were just like it was you were just going to work with your friends.
Mhm.
Like it at one point, especially on skate hire, it did kind of turn into a bit of like jackass. Like we were all like testing each other, poking each other, just trying to get reactions. That it did kind of like induce anxiety because you go to work, going, who's gonna mess with me today? So that was fun. And then this new one is just professional, and it's like almost mirrors me. It's I've gone from this dumb 20-year-old kid to like a now someone who's just working hard and in a
Yeah.
professional setting.
You know what I wish is you would have already started the documentary back at Batchy's testimonial, and you could have documented Chippy Lane's events that weekend.
Yeah, I think if there's any trophies this year, I think the footage from that, I don't know how much it will be able to use because I think there's going to be a lot of celebrations. The Chippy
Right.
Lane is
That'd be pretty cool
definitely
though to
here.
get all that documented. But yeah, they're definitely. I was happy that nobody was documenting my behavior in Germany after winning it.
Yeah, I can bet. I think that's one that if touch wood, if we win the playoffs this year, they'll just be filmed for a little bit and then go, boys, cameras off, do whatever you want.
Time to put the cameras away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely sounds fun. Well, I hope Manchester wins the trophy too. So, I got lots of teams to cheer for this year. I'm very confused.
Yeah, I think it's so far it's looking like it's going to be competitive as well up and down the league. I think Cardiff, Belfast are going to be up there again. But for me, as long as every team's like coming, as long as there's no games where you're going, oh, it's only that team, we're going to win.
Right.
You want every single game to be like, this is going to be tough.
Well,
And
and
I
I
think,
think it will be. I mean, every team is a bunch of professional hockey players.
yeah, and every single team is up their game so far on and off the ice this year.
Yeah. So anyways, I guess I just got written down here. Well, I got favorite day as a Devils fan.
Oh, favorite day as a Devils fan. Challenge Cup 2015.
Yeah, man.
Went after that one. I remember just like how tough it was the year before and how like basically just like the fan base was like sort of crumbling. So people like protesting and not coming to games and then just
Yep.
going up like literally bought tickets last minute. Me and my friend drove up, And we're like, this will be a good day out. And then just seeing like you guys win it that day, it felt like a turning point, and it proved to be one.
Absolutely. It was very memorable. I had no idea a Challenge Cup final was going to be that like that. It was as tight as a hockey game gets. Both teams played really good. And to see the passion of the Devils fans to come all the way to Sheffield, and like, man, there was a lot of Devils fans. You see the picture I have up in the shed of, like I always say, it takes everyone to win. It does. It took all of them coming to Sheffield that day and getting us up for the game even more. So when you see the whole half of an arena is your fans from 5 hours away, it's pretty memorable. And then, like afterwards, it was good they put the cameras away because we did get the team banned from that hotel. So my bad,
Oh,
Todd.
no.
My bad, Toddy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I also remember, so the owners were over for that one. I think they're up in a box for most of it. And then third period, they were just like sat in front of me, just in amongst all the crowd, just
When
like getting.
everybody was just having so much fun, man, and it was like, this is so hockey, and it made me want to win so bad when I
Yeah,
saw like pictures of the fan bus on the way to the game, and I see Franny's old man with big jugs on his head, and then you see the owners of our team have the helmets on with the red
yeah,
lights, and it's like, man, everybody knows how to hockey around here.
yeah. I think that's what was good is you could tell like because obviously it's new owners. Whenever like when it comes to sports ownership, everyone's always skeptical, but you could see that weekend the owners are fans. Like the owners are
Yeah, and
want
they're just
want to
normal
cheer them.
dudes. They just got more money than us, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what's good is they are just normal guys and they're just like easy to talk to and like they're really approachable whenever they come over. And like that weekend, they were literally sat the row in front of me for the third period, and it's just like they were just chatting away with anyone who would come speak to them.
Oh yeah, and they're beauties and they're shed guys. That's why they all came on together, right?
Exactly.
hmm so it's kind of neat how you found your place in the game, eh? Everybody needs to find their place. It took me a long time to find my place again, and I guess that's in my shed and coaching kids, right?
Yeah, I think for me, like I was very lucky that 2 years ago I was, finishing up a degree. I got 6 weeks work on cricket, and I was like, what am I going to do next? And just Todd Kelman reached out, and we had a quick chat, came to an agreement. I worked for the team for a year, did my own thing for a year, freelancing. He likes to call it I went rogue, but I prefer to say I went freelancing. And then, like I said, like hockey it's addicting. So it's something that I know I'm good at filming. I know I'm good at storytelling, and I felt that there's a story to be told with the Cardiff Devils, and for me, this year made perfect sense.
hmm Well, and it is the right time. It's the rebrand, it's the new coach, it's the new identity. But then you still got Joey Martin, and now you got Mosey back and Richie, and it's like, man, this is a squad. You got Bouncy doing his thing still. It is a great time to be doing it. It's going to be a heck of a memory, and I hope the Kit Kats happen again this season, and then we can get that in a documentary, right?
Yeah, I don't see why I wouldn't. I think if any fans are listening to this, you'll probably see this weekend. You'll have a few Kit Kats, I think.
Right. And then Mosey comes on later this week, and then we're gonna really make this thing go, right?
I
Enough's
think it,
enough. Fun is fun, right?
I think it's gonna work. And like you said, fun is fun. This team is fun.
Well,
Like
think
guys
about
are
this
fun.
from my eyes though, like just talking to my shed is like, so you're saying if Herning wins, Manchester wins, and Cardiff wins all in the same night, I could be seeing chocolate thrown on the ice all over the world, all like at the same time. And it's like, that's some memorable shit.
Three different countries.
Like
That
that's
could work
cool,
really
right?
well.
Shed family, make it happen, right?
100%. I think
Mhm.
you've had a good positive impact on like the UK fan base. So
I try to. I'm just having
I'm
fun
sure
though.
they'll do a
If
few.
anime has a problem with me, I'm sorry. And not for everyone, right?
I think that you're getting guys on your podcast, and like same with what I'm trying to do with the documentary. I'm trying to give a little glimpse into what guys get up to off the ice.
What they're really like, who the person is that, say you're bashing on Twitter or whatever it is, maybe you'll realize they're just normal dudes trying to be good at their job, right?
Yeah, I think one thing that's great about this team is like the first couple of days, I found that guys were kind of looking at the camera all the time when I was filming, but now guys are so used to me just filming everything that no one's acting up or freezing up in front of the camera. They just know, oh, this guy's filming. I'll just be myself anyway.
So you're around like all the time? Like, are you at
Pretty much.
every practice and then all
Yeah.
the games? Really?
Not all the games, so I'm not doing all the away games. I did the one yesterday up in Sheffield, but every home game, pretty much every practice, unless there's a reason for me not to be there, which so far I've been at every single one. So it's a full undertaking. It's gonna be a long, stressful year, but
So
I'm
then
making a
you have to decide what like because it said you're gonna have an episode a month, is that right?
yeah, one episode every month. So probably got about
So
another.
you're cutting out most of the stuff you're filming then if you're around all the time or what?
Yeah, well, it's more just like if I can have, I prefer to be editing too much than too little. I'd rather have too much to and like cut things out, and then maybe at the end of the year, if there's enough stuff, I can make like an end of season unseen bits thing, and
Right. Yeah, that's a good idea too.
yeah, so that it could be an extra episode.
So one of the guys that seems to be all over my device when I check things out is Riley Brandt.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Riley Brandt is a heck of a controversial player if you're from another team, but if you're a Devils fan, if you're in Cardiff, you absolutely love the guy.
right. And I can tell how much people love him, and I can
Yeah.
tell how much that guy likes being a Devil too.
Oh yeah, he gets it. I think he just likes being a pro hockey player. I think he just loves. He's the type of guy who you can tell just loves hanging out with the boys and just playing hockey for a living.
Just
He's
he's
got
a team
great
guy.
attitude.
I saw him come into the one somebody was doing something to my goat, I think, and then Riley Brandt comes flying like it would
Yeah.
have like he's the type of guy that it's like don't mess with my teammates or I am coming and I'm coming full speed.
Yes, 100%. I mean, whether or not that was sensible to do, I don't know, but it was good content for me. As soon
That
as I
was
saw that, like,
something. He was
oh,
definitely he didn't come in controlled.
no, but I think for him, he's just he knows his role, he knows what he's good at, and he doesn't mind doing it. It's the same with Chad Peccinero. He doesn't mind getting involved. He's happy to stick up for his team and happy to stick up for himself. He's had a couple of decent scraps already, even though we're 4 games into a competitive season.
There's been a bit of fighting. I saw Batchy was fighting too.
Yeah, he had one in preseason. He nearly got involved again on Saturday night against Glasgow. He's big body guy. He knows that he's gonna have to stick up for himself and stick up for his teammates, and he doesn't mind
Oh,
doing it. And
he's a teammate. He's a beauty. Oh yeah.
yeah, I think for him, with his long hair, any excuse to get that helmet off and do that hair flip, just do it.
Yeah,
Just do it.
he probably learned that from Lee Salters, right?
Oh
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's a
yeah.
handsome man.
He really was, yeah, and or is, I guess. But yeah, when Star, I remember like the Welsh anthem. He was my line mate too, right? Nobody was looking at me with our helmets off.
Everyone
Then he
staring at
would
me.
soak his hair with water and flip the hair back, and you could just hear the women in the crowd go, "Oh,
Some of the men too.
yeah,
Beautiful man.
yeah." What are you gonna do, right? Some people just got it, right?
Exactly.
We just be ourselves, right? Do the best we can.
Exactly. I just I'm gonna keep doing hair flips whilst I still can. If you see my old man, my hair's on its way out.
Yeah, well, your old man's a shed guy, and
Yep.
makes it such a small world when he was wearing a Two Ales and Hockey Tales hoodie wherever he was in that like weird house looking thing. I don't know where
I
he
was down
was.
in what's it called? The place where they film Lord of the Rings in New Zealand.
New Zealand, yeah, like that's cool. When somebody's wearing a Two Ales and Hockey Tales hoodie in New Zealand, that's
Yeah.
living.
He was him and my mum were down there last year because my sister lives down there. She just had a kid. So they went to finally meet their granddaughter. So
I
she
don't
took
think I
took
ever bring
everyone.
this up, folks. Can buy stuff at aleshockeytales.com. We have hoodies, we have shirts, we have mugs, you know. I should probably say that sometimes on here.
Yeah, promote yourself.
Mugs like this. See? Good day for living, folks. Shed family running amok. Right? Yeah. The
100%.
hoodies are cool too. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and I gave one away to Jards at the testimonial, and I seem to have misplaced my other one. So now I don't even have one myself. Brutal. Be
You need to
better,
sort that out.
Molten. Yeah.
Another teacher on, so that's good. At least you got something.
Yeah. So the main part of that first episode though was that workout thing they made the Devils do. Eh? That looked like quite the long day.
Yeah, that was a very long day. That was maybe like 7, 8 hours. It was a really hot day as well. It was like 30 degrees.
So what they like stop to eat in the middle of it or no?
You could have like snacks. They had like protein bars, bananas, water, stuff like that. Then we had like after it was all done, we all had like all our food, which was nice. But that was a tough day for them. But that day really made me realize how much I'm not an athlete. Because these guys are going through hell, running up and down hills, carrying each other, climbing ropes. All I'm doing is just following them around with a camera. And by the end of it, I'm like, I am sweating.
Yeah, some of the workouts you have to do as a professional hockey player can really test you.
Yes, definitely. I was looking at that going, I'm so glad that I was never any good at hockey.
I was looking at that thinking, geez, it's a good thing I don't play hockey anymore because I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah, to be fair, it was a fun day. The guys all bought in and loved it. So it was Pete's idea, and I think he smashed that as like a team builder.
It is interesting how things change, but they don't change. It's like I watch that and it's all very much how it was when I was a hockey player, that documentary. But then it's like all the new faces where I'm like, I have no idea who you are, and I have no idea who he is. And it's like, wow, like it's amazing how much change has happened just in the last few years.
Yeah. Well, luckily with one episode a month, you'll get to know some of the guys. There's some really, really like nice guys and some really funny guys as well. So gonna try and get those personalities out over the next couple of episodes.
Well, you should definitely keep doing what you're doing because that first episode you are running amok, sir. That's it's gonna be something that I think will be cherished in Devil's history is when this is all done at the end of the year, you know?
Yeah, that's one thing that obviously, honestly, when I approached Todd, it's just like I just want to make a documentary because I've been doing so much social media stuff. I kind of want to get back out filming. I never really considered like the impact it will have on players, impact it will have on fans, and all that. And like reading some of the messages I had once we dropped the first episode, and the response to the from the guys was absolutely, it was so nice. It was like
Right.
really amazing.
People saying nice things to you can be nice, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
it's unbelievable. But to be fair, we showed the guys a couple of hours before it went out, and I had to like give a speech at the start, and I was just like just rambling on because I was just nervous, and I just sat at the back of the room whilst I watched it, just shaking. So like, I hope these guys like it, and
And
every
that
single one of them.
and but that shows how much you care and that you want them to like it. And it's the same like me doing this. It's like I want people to want to come on. I want people to want to get their name out there in the hockey world as I'm saying you're a good dude when you come on. Well, you're a shed guy if you come on, you know?
Yeah, and it's better to have someone who cares a bit too much than somebody who doesn't care at all. But it was really nice that after it went out, after we showed the players, every single one of them one by one came up just told me how much they liked it. Like
That's
to a
awesome.
man, every single one of them came up to me and I was like, this is phenomenal.
Yeah. So people check it out, right? Inside the Cardiff Devils on YouTube, right?
Yep. Cardiff Devils YouTube.
Yeah, pretty neat what you're doing, man. And you obviously could probably make more than one episode a month, eh, with how much you'd be getting content wise.
I was thinking about that the other day, like in terms of just like smaller episodes, like stuff that maybe wouldn't make like the full episode. Maybe I could turn like 5 minute pieces around, like in between, but we'll see.
So you're gonna be at the rink a lot, but then are you gonna be like going to the players' like houses, getting to know the wives and kids and stuff?
That's the plan, yeah. So I think speaking of Bouncy, I think we may be doing something like that for the next episode because obviously he's just had his little girl. And I've spoke to a couple of the players about following them, just like going out to lunch with them and just seeing what they get up to. So that's the type of stuff that fans never get to see. So that's the type of stuff I
See
want
if you
fans.
can get Bouncy's tramp stamp in on it. I bet you a lot of fans haven't even seen his tramp stamp,
I saw it for the first time the other week. I thought it was a myth.
right? It's
Yeah,
real.
yeah, it's as real as his new baby.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's like a butterfly on his low back or something, right?
Something like that. I'll try and sneak that.
No, it's pretty neat though, and you're making memories for players, and it's like the same as coming to the shed is making a memory, right? And we
Yeah,
send it this, and then it's out there forever, right?
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and the
Like,
fun is fun, right?
yeah, fun's fun. I spent too much of my 20s like feeling bad for myself when I really shouldn't have. I just didn't have the attitude. I was like just a miserable person. And I thought I'm gonna make a change and I'm not gonna look back. And since then, I've just completely changed my outlook on life. And I think
Your
you can
state of
tell from the
mind can be a
content.
powerful thing, can it? If you
100%.
try and
Todd
make the
actually,
positives and you're making solutions instead of problems and not complaining, it can be a lot more fun to live.
yeah, when I worked for the team last, Todd gave me a book for Christmas, and I didn't read it for a while. I read it over the summer, and I'm glad he gave it to me because I think I read it at the time that I was meant to read it, and it's just I'm a better person for it. Just all about how mindset changes everything.
Right. Yeah, it's like when I wake up in the mornings now, it's like I think I can do way more than I used to be able to do in a day.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you just got to give it, right?
Yep,
Well, thanks for coming on. And it's like when you said you read the book at the right time, it's like we had somewhat discussed doing this, but you're coming on at the right time, you know?
100%. No, thank you so much for having me on as well. I really appreciate being a Czech guy now.
Oh yeah, and when I see someone running amok like that, like it does take everyone to win. And I honestly, I am a sponsor of the Manchester Storm and Captain Critch. But like the Devils will always be my team too. And I think you making that is it's a problem for all the other teams in the league because the players are going to really appreciate every episode that comes out and they might even play a little bit better because of what you're making there.
Yeah, I think the first episode I kind of want the guys to get used to me filming, and then now it's out. The guys are really responding well to it. They responded well to it from the start anyway, but I think that it kind of did bring the team together a bit.
And then they're going to realize that just being themselves is actually pretty cool, right?
That's what's impressed me the most is that like no one's acting up, no one's trying to be the star. Everyone's just like, I'm just gonna carry on doing what I'm doing. If he's filming me, he's filming me.
Yeah, might as well be you, right?
Yeah, 100%.
hmm Well, keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep running amok. And folks, don't forget your raffle tickets at aleshockeytales.com, and you may as well buy a hoodie while you're there, right?
100%.
Yeah. And this has been another episode of Zero Ales and Hockey Tales with Hampson Wally.